Alright guys, we're back. Making my last pass on this first little 3 acres. The only issue we ran into is, I don't know how good that's coming out right there. That's a little hill. Obviously 10-foot brush hog full tile. We did hit that hill and we did bulk the tractor down a little bit. No big deal. We got our last little pass, but what I wanted to point out, earlier in the film, y'all saw all the cows at the hay bale, right? Well, now that I got all this knocked down, y'all can see there's a couple that broke off. They're starting to graze in an area I just cut. Because now we've got all that thick brush cut down. There's some bahia and different little things that they'll eat down in that weed that now they can get to because we got it knocked down. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. We're trying to do that. We're trying to knock this stuff down, especially in this heat, so that we can, let me throw in third gear so I can move and talk, right? We got ground to make. But anyway, what we're trying to do is knock all this crud here down. These weeds, we got these little blackberry bushes right here that we just ran over. Little trees coming up, things of that nature. The trees ain't as big of a deal because they don't really, when they're small like that, they won't shade that hay out. But you get into like these blackberry bushes and some of these other bushes. I'm no plant expert, fellas, but some of these bushes, you know, when they get so thick, it won't allow that hay to move in. And those cows, they don't want to sit there and have to fight for their food. They don't want to dig. They're lazy. They're lazy just like us. You know, we want easy food. We want to be able to go get our food and enjoy it. So as you can come in, you can kind of see down. This is a thick little brush area that we're finishing up on. There ain't a whole lot of grass you can see in there because that stuff had that completely blocked up. Now what will happen, I will come back in a couple of days when I had all this stuff knocked down, especially in this heat. All that stuff will actually brown out. And it basically looks like it burns. I don't know proper terminology. Like I said, I'm no plant expert. But that's what we want. We want this stuff to kind of burn out and go away. I'm gonna hit this one little spot right here just because of the way the tree is, you know. It's just like mowing your lawn. You can't get everything going one way. So we'll knock this out. We'll try to get the other side of this tree as well. And we'll move on to the next section. I'll kind of cover that little wolf story earlier and show y'all where that was as best as I can to my ability while in the tractor. So I don't know if I finished my story. I'm a little scatterbrained. Like I said, I got a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Typically this is when I shut off my brain and I'm able to just relax. And I don't have to think about a whole lot. But this bahia, I want to cover that. None of this bahia was planted. And just to give you an idea how this bahia is, and you can kind of see some of that stuff starting to turn brown already. That's that stuff I was talking about. Anyway, back to the bahia story. So, none of this bahia was planted. The hay I buy from the hay guy, he bales 5x6 bahia hay grass bales, and typically you get a little bit of weeds in there and all that. It is what it is, right? Anyhow, the cows will actually eat that, and it will go through, you know, their stomachs and come out the other side in their manure spreader in, right? And they will leave little manure paddocks, and in there is grass seed. So that's actually how all this right here in front of me, that used to be nothing but a red clay log road, and all this is actually bahia now mostly. This stuff over here is some type of prairie grass. Can't tell that hard, but this over here is bahia. And all that bahia is actually came from the bahia bales going through the cows and processing, coming out the other side. And like I said, we had these cows here for about roughly 7 years now, and you can kind of see. So that first little 3 acre section I brush hogged before. I brush hogged this stuff before too, but you can see this is kind of taller. On the other side of this hill is stuff I really ain't brush hogged a whole lot. So that's where it's going to get interesting. But what I wanted to do, so my wolf story, right? So I was back here walking, and I was walking along this road right here, and I got to about right here. And I looked down there, and y'all can kind of see there's an opening where the tree's on the right, bush is on the left. That bush that sticks out the furthest to the right on the left-hand side, that's about where he was. And I was probably about where that white patch of dirt is there. I picked up that log, got ready to fight. And luckily, that guy, he turned around and walked back to them woods. Because like I said, I wasn't going down without a fight, but I probably wasn't winning that fight either. That being said, I'm not no small guy. I'm 6'5", touching 300 pounds. I probably would have gave it more of a fight than it wanted, but it's not a fight you want to go into, because that was a big animal. That was one of the bigger predators I've ever seen in person. And bear in mind, I know you guys that live in grizzly bear country. Yes, I don't want to fight a grizzly bear either. I don't want to fight these things either. Some people want to tell me that was a coyote. I've seen coyotes all my life. That was not a coyote. That was a coyote. He'd been taking steroids. I don't know. When I was a teenager, sci-fi films, the Sci-Fi Channel was kind of a big deal. And there was a movie that came out. It might have been called Snakeheads, but basically it was talking about snakeheads taking over this lake, and for whatever reason that lake got poisoned in the past, and the mayor or sheriff or somebody was trying to get things back going, because it's a fishing town. It's basically spitting image to live in, right? There ain't a whole lot out here, and what we do got is our lake. And so he was trying to get the lake back up and going. He was trying to get the sport fish back in action. Anyhow, the snakeheads made in that lake somehow or another, and he was pouring human growth hormones in it. And it being typical sci-fi film, sci-fi budget. Any of you who grew up watching Sci-Fi Channel, you know what I'm talking about. The snakeheads grew to like stupid proportions, to the point that I think one was like the size of a blue whale in this lake that probably was 20 feet deep. It's deep in location, but you know, it's a typical sci-fi movie. But anyhow, if you're doing that with wolves in Sinlow area of Louisiana, please stop. I don't want to have to fight them. It was definitely a wolf though. It was actually later on that week. My mother-in-law and my sister-in-law were coming up the driveway, and they actually saw it too. It was early morning. So 3 people have seen it. Other people will say there's several wolves in this area. All I can tell you, I don't want to fight the thing. I don't care if it's a coyote on steroids or a wolf. It ain't gonna happen. So, kind of getting back in this area. This stuff here I've knocked down before, except for that taller stuff there. This is actually right around where my brush hog self-destructed on itself. Basically what happened, I was brush hogging some heavy duty stuff. I think those discs were over torqued, because they definitely didn't. They looked like they were over torqued compared to the disc on here. If I remember right, when I get back to the house, I'll try to take that cover off and show y'all what I'm talking about. Anyhow, I was coming along, I think in this area, and I was going to make a turn right here to go back that way, and I'm just going along just like this, and next thing I know, I see something flying over here, and then this thing has a clutch on it, or slip brake, whatever you want to call them, and it started to squealing. And so I looked back, saw what happened, shut off the PTO, inspected it, went through the whole Kubota insurance claim. It wasn't a big deal. Great. I can't talk highly enough about the Kubota insurance people, which, you know, that's kind of like a centralized Kubota thing. But on top of that, my local dealership, man, they were awesome. That local dealership is Patrick Miller. If y'all ever want to buy a Kubota in Louisiana, in the Sinlow or Sportsman Paradise area, I highly recommend them, guys. They've been great. But yeah, other than that, great experience. So I'm getting kind of some of this stuff that I haven't knocked this down before. So it gets a little busier. This right here ain't so bad. Because we had them actually come through and clear all this stuff for us to run this fence, and you can kind of tell, I mean, from the fence to over here there's some taller brush. That's actually where they piled up everything they removed from this area, such as stumps and stuff. But that was roughly, like I said, guys, 7 years ago. All this stuff's rotted. I don't really have to worry about stumps, because it's pine stumps in Louisiana. 7 years it rotted. It's rotted. I can walk up to one and kick it with my boot, and it will bust up to pieces. So what I'm going to do is come here. I don't really want to go across that, especially since it rained. That does get like a little, I don't want to say marshy, but it's wet, soft, sandy bottom. I'm going to lower this brush hog down so we can knock some of these small little 2-inch trees out. And I'm going to try to make some passes. I don't think I'm going to make it through the 20 acres today. We bumped the fence post back there. It's all good. Little wood fence post. You're going to hit one. That's the one to hit. Talking and driving, guys. Talking and driving. Don't do it when you're in your vehicle. If you're on your tractor, be cautious. It is what it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to this turn here, and I'm going to lower my bucket, not my brush hog, but basically I'm going to straighten it out to where that blade's straight, and I'm going to lower it. So ideally, that's going to knock things down. If you get the heavier stuff, that blade would catch a lot of times and chop that tree off, and then your brush hog just has to do the cleanup. This stuff ain't too crazy. Like I said, this brush hog can do 2.5 inches. I mean, obviously we're not going over them trees, but we're about to hit that tree there and some of these other trees. We'll be very cautious because you got to watch out, because a lot of these trees, it'll look like a little 2-inch tree where you can see, and then you get to the bottom, it's 8 inches. Ask me how I know. So we'll knock as much of this out as we can today, and whatever we don't get today, maybe tomorrow evening I'll be able to come out and do it. We're going to have a little family cooking tomorrow, and if I have time, we'll see. But let's get started. So we want to be very cautious. So far, none of these trees look crazy. Whatever we can't get with this tractor, we'll come back. Or I don't feel comfortable to get. This tractor probably can get a lot more than I give it credit for. But I also don't want to tear up my brand new 2-year-old Kubota, you know. This tractor's been a blessing. I don't want to lose it, especially after losing that brush hog for that year because of COVID. I think things are better now. My tractor dealership, I passed by there earlier today, matter of fact, and they got tons of tractors. But I don't feel like having to go through that practice again. We're going to try to squeeze between these 2 trees, because they got a little bit bigger roots that I'm kind of... Perfect, perfect, perfect. I know y'all didn't get to see that, but we got to be cautious. Y'all can hear that tractor's working a little bit harder now, but we are eating a little bit bigger product. So we got some smaller stuff, nothing too crazy. Let's try to squeal through here. We'll knock out this stuff here, and we'll come back on another pass and get closer in. But I'd rather be more cautious than not. Oh, that was a bomb. All this stuff I have knocked down before. It's just been a long, long time. And some of it I might have not knocked down, because you can tell that's thicker stuff there. That tree right there, we're not brush hogging that today, guys. But not a big deal. The goal here is to get as much as possible. I can always come back here with a chainsaw and knock down the stuff that we can get. It's not a big deal. So what I'm going to do to keep my brush hogging from self-detonating like it did last go around, you can hear it eating that brush we just went through. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to drop a gear, but we got ground to make. Oh, I'm in a regen now. So I guess let me hit that right now, because that's one thing that's different between tractors. This has a regen. It does not use DEF. What you see is this little light. As long as that light ain't blinking, you're good. Just keep going. It burns a little bit more diesel, trying to burn all that soot out of that muffler down there. As long as that ain't blinking, you're good. If it's blinking, you up your PTO. That's all you do. Not a big deal. We're going to up our PTO because that does take away from our RPM a little bit. And we are hitting that thicker stuff. So I'm going to bump it up to about 550. And we are kind of getting in hill country. I say hill country. I say hill country a lot, don't I? But it's hard to tell in this phone, but this is actually a decent little valley. It does go down here, and come back up over there. So we got it takes a little bit more out of the tractor going up and down the hills. Not a big deal. Anyhow, this regen, so during winter, you don't run the tractor all the way, right? You're pretty much feeding hay. And I say that, I guess in Louisiana, the thing to point out, we're not running our tractors in the winter a whole hell of a lot. We just, we pretty much feed hay. That's what we do in the winter. It's too wet to do anything else. It stays wet here in the winter. Fall, spring, kind of same, to be honest. Every now and then you'll get lucky and we'll have like a dry fall and a dry spring. And I say get lucky, double-edged sword, right? I can come out with that old tractor and I can do some brush hogging and I won't feel like I'm dying from the heat and humidity, right? On the other hand, that also means you're not getting rain and your grass ain't growing. Double-edged sword is what it is. I'm hoping, I don't know how well y'all can see the fence. The fence is right there on the west side, east side of the pasture here. I plan on fencing that side in next. There's a lot of, my land actually goes past that wood line, or into that wood line. So it's gonna be interesting fencing all that in. I gotta cut a path. I'm gonna have a fence come off that post over there, go straight across. That corner over there is actually my wood line, but as you go this way, the wood line actually comes in some. So that's the thing we got to do. We got to cut us a little path going through there. Not a big deal. It's what it is. Oh. Well, we just killed the tractor, so let's. We're gonna turn the PTO off. We're gonna lower the RPM, and let's crank the tractor back up. And it's in gear, so it won't crank. Great safety feature. Keeps you from hurting yourself. I know a lot of this I'm gonna have to do editing. I just noticed this video is 17 minutes long. I hate to see how long that first one is, but it is what it is. I'm gonna pick up the back of the brush hog, turn the PTO on, give it some RPMs. I'm getting used to videoing, folks. Bear with me. Well, we're gonna move forward with that brush hog elevated. It helps if I put it in drive. And we're just gonna try to knock down some brush. Oh, that's a bump. There was a pretty big stump right there too. That did not look like it was rotted, so I left my brush hog elevated. Now we're gonna drop our brush hog back down. Oh, it went wrong direction. And let's get back to brush hogging. So I'm kind of torn what to do. I'm not going to get this 20 acres done today. So I think what I'm going to do is cut this side in half, because this is what I'm worried about. That over there ain't as bad. It can still conceal the predators pretty well. Luckily my calves are big enough now, or at least the ones I got. I don't have to worry about predators as much. It's one, or at least that's been my experience. Once they get past the point to where they can run, the main thing is they can get to the herd, and the herd will protect them. It's always good to keep one cow with horns, just so they got a little bit better way to defend. And y'all probably saw, we named her Pumpkin, orange cow, big horns. Great cow. So we're getting kind of in this area. It's hard to tell probably, but it's rutted. They rutted this up whenever they cut all the trees off. I dropped down this second, so I can kind of crawl through this stuff a little bit better. I don't feel like getting thrown around the tractor today. So we'll kind of cut through here. You can tell this has been brush hogged before, and that's pretty much what all I got before it self-destructed. I'm gonna mosey on this way, and we're gonna try to get some of this taller stuff on this side of the pasture knocked down. And then maybe tomorrow evening or someday this week when I get home, maybe I can touch up this area. Like I said earlier, got an 8-to-5 job, about an hour commute. By the time I get here, it's 6 o'clock. Luckily, you know, now this time of year, it doesn't get dark around here. It's about 8:30. So we'll see what we can do. Putting along. might make this multiple videos just because I know y'all ain't gonna want to sit there and listen to me talk for like 3 hours straight. Nobody wants that. I don't want that. I don't even like myself enough to listen to myself. And I think it'd be silly to expect y'all to do that as well. So one thing y'all did miss out, and one thing that I really love about my property, I do have we're at the northwest portion of what's called Cenla, Louisiana, which is the central Louisiana. The next parish, for you folks that don't know, that's what we call our counties in Louisiana, it's a parish. There you go. Anyway, next parish north of us, that part of Louisiana, is called Sportsman Paradise. They kill a lot of big whitetails up there. However, we got plenty of good whitetails in this area too. Make sure we don't hit this tree here. That's not something we want to eat today. So we got a lot of wild game. It's very rural in my area, which it's awesome. That's what I love about it. We got some good deer. Anyway, what started the story once I was on that first 3 acres. Don't know what it is. I'm guessing it's that stuff that grows down over there. Rabbits love it. So normally every time I'm in that area I get to see a bunch of rabbits, which is pretty cool. Today I only saw one. Normally I'll see a bunch. So I plan on this channel, like I said, I'm going to go with AAA Farms. That's what I want to name my farm. Basically I got my boys, all 3 of my boys start with an A in their name, and that's kind of where we came with the name. We do not have an LLC yet. That's something I hope to do pretty soon. We're not really to a point that we're making money. Matter of fact, we've never broke even in the 7 years we've been doing it, which, you know, we're in the expansion part. So I mean, we got 12 cows. 2 of them are steers. I plan on having those slaughtered for our own consumption. Those still got like another year before they're ready. I got an Excel sheet that I track how often things are born. 3rd year, since we're in this smooth stuff. It tracks when they were born, what cow they were born to, all that good stuff. Probably gonna slaughter those 2 steers. So I'm gonna put those in my freezer, my family's freezer. I do have 2 heifers that were just born. That's kind of what has me out here doing this. My bull's getting to a point, it's probably about time to send him down the road. Just let him go help out another farm, right? We're gonna sell him and he can go breed. He's getting to that age. And since we're gonna be doing that, I'm probably gonna keep those 2 heifers and get another bull to breed. That way I can grow my farm by 2 heifers, right? Pretty much basically free. That's the way to grow your farm, to grow your herd. If you got time, if you're in this for money, which is definitely more of a hobby for me, because like I said, we've been in the hole by probably $2 grand every year, if not more. Hay's expensive. Cows ain't going for much. Well, I don't have enough cows to really send. I normally sell 2 a year, maybe, and I mean that brings home probably good year, probably about $1,600. And hay costs about $2 grand, and that's not including new fence material, diesel in the tractor, maintenance to all the different equipment, tractor trucks, and so on. But we're hoping to turn that around. I'm kind of thinking about going a farmer market route. That way we don't have to worry about having as much cattle, and we can kind of do more of a local farm market type setup. We can eat that tree. That way I can, my goal is I'm hoping by the I'm 45, 50 that I can go ahead and retire and start just farming full time. Got some looking to do. That tree, we can eat that tree. Yeah, that tree's fine. Anyway, I'm hoping to go that farmer market route. We just built a chicken coop probably about 2 months ago or so. Turned out great. I'll probably do a video of following up on that, kind of show y'all it. Obviously it's built, it's not 100% done, so I'll show y'all that stuff as I finish it. But I'll give you a little rundown on what my coop looks like. It's super simple. A lot cheaper than any of this online stuff you can buy, you know, like plans and everything. And it depends on what you want. You know, if you're in a decent subdivision or like a nice neighborhood and you got neighbors and you care, you know, it has to look gorgeous, bougie, whatever you want to call it. Probably not the chicken coop you want to build. If you just want a chicken coop that looks good, that you're not going to go, oh, that thing's ugly every time you look at it. Oh, the street's small. Yeah, that should be fine. Great chicken coop setup, and I'll show you it. It's been through 2 very significant storms, heavy winds. No hurricanes yet, which where I'm at, hurricanes ain't as big of a threat, but they can hurt us. Laura was the last one that hit us pretty hard. I lost like all my shingles, but other than that, nothing too crazy. Those trees should be fine. Nothing too crazy. Anyhow, these 2 last storms we had pretty high winds, and it knocked out a lot of power, but it wasn't nothing extreme, and our coop held up just fine. And it's not ugly by any means. We got about 60 chickens in it right now. 10 of those chickens are in the brooder, so I guess technically they don't count yet, but they're about to get let in there with the rest of the chickens. And I'll make sure to make a video on that, because that's going to be interesting. But of the 50 that are in the cube, there's a lot of roosters. We're going to have to process those out as meat chickens, and we'll have those for our own consumption. And then but long run, our coop's built to hold about 50 hens, and that's what we want. We want to be able to have enough eggs that we don't have to worry about things. We don't have to worry about grocery stores and supply lines. But also, that should give us enough to sell eggs here and there on the side, make a little bit of money. Oh. All right, we must have hit some dirt back there and that tall weeds. We're gonna try to squeeze right here. Might make it. This is gonna be close. Slowly but surely. Let's try. We're gonna catch right there. Yep. All right, we bumped over. No big deal. That looks like it might be thicker. That tree right there. And it's hard to tell. We're gonna go left. Go left. And we'll hug right here. If we get past that tree. And we did. Okay. We're going to try to start here. And I know I'm not doing a very good job of this, but we just ate all that there. Oh man. Anyhow, I'm gonna let you guys go. I'll pick up the video if anything interesting happens. You can kind of get the gist of what's going on. I'll probably pick the video up again. Like I said, probably gonna make this a couple videos just because there's so much to cover, man. First video on the channel, trying to get you guys caught up, trying to get you guys filled in what we're about, and I guess I did not cover that. So, yay! Y'all get to hear me talk for a few minutes. So, we're trying to start a farm. This is just more of a hobby farm for us, to be honest. It'd be great if we can get to a point to do this full time. That is my ultimate goal. But it's hard doing that, man. Even some of these big farms, a lot of times those fellas have part-time jobs to support everything. We just don't make a whole lot. I think once I get everything up and rolling, the farmers market route seems to be the better route to be able to go full-time to do this. Seems like there's more money that way. There's a few YouTube channels of folks out there you can see that I mean, this is what they do. They farm way less acres than I do, but they go to farmer market, hoping to really don't pick up a stick in the tire. They go farmers market route, and that's how they support their families. So I'm hoping to kind of go that route, and maybe one day, we'll have to see. Anywho, kind of gonna carry you guys along. We got a lot of stuff that I do here. I mean, obviously the farm, the cows, the egg-laying chickens progress going on right now. You know, this current project. I want to do meat chicken soon. We got a little 20 by 24 shed, has a dirt bottom to it. I want to concrete that in so we can put a freezer in our shed and be able to put chickens in there, and that way we have a place to put chickens when we process them. Until that's done, I'm probably not going to do meat chickens. Sorry guys, trying to squeeze through all this stuff. Those little trees don't look like it. You can see on that one back there. That stuff's pretty beefy at the bottom. Anyway, we're back to the little rough area. Anyhow, what I plan on bringing y'all along with is kind of just like everyday stuff that we do here on the farm. And so what do I mean by that? So obviously the farm stuff, right? Cows, chickens, eventually meat chickens. I want to do pigs. There's going to be a lot more fencing going on because got 20 acres of 141 acres fenced in, guys. We're not even halfway there. So there's going to be some of that. Maybe some educational videos along stuff with that, kind of show you how I do it. I ain't saying it's the right way. There's multiple ways to build fence. You can go out there and you can see 50 different ways people do it. I'm just going to show you the way I do it, and I'll explain why I do it the way I do it, because I do have my reasons. As far as if you want to get cows, pigs, I mean, guys, there's no surefire way to do it. And you got to figure out what works for you in your area. What I do, not a big deal. When you see my chicken coop and I show you, there's not a whole lot of insulation. Because for us, the coldest day in the winter is like 32 degrees, 30 degrees. Once on a blue moon, we'll get down to the teens, but it's rare. We got to worry about heat more than anything. Kind of got the tractor bogged down a little bit. It'll be okay. Got her done. Anyhow, heat's a bigger issue for us, for all of our animals. Winter's not a big deal. Every now and then we'll get a freeze, and the biggest deal of that is just making sure the cows can get to the water. It'll freeze the water about 2-3 inches thick. I think it's the worst I've ever seen. We had a huge freeze, I think roughly 2, maybe 3 years ago, come through the south. I imagine y'all have seen it, where sadly there was a lot of people that lost their lives during that, and it's just because we're not northern states, right? So us dealing with, you know, sub-freezing temperatures for several days would be like people up north dealing with our 110 degree winter, 110 degree summers for months at a time. You know, that's something y'all don't want to fight is that, and something we don't want to fight is the cold. And it just kind of shows the difference of the different environments we face in the United States. And it's not saying, you know, oh, Northern's got it easier, Southern's got it easier, whatever. We just got different environments, different things we got to fight, right? But you'll see that in my coop. You'll see that, you know, we don't have it insulated very well. So that's not a concern here. We don't have snow. Once in a blue moon, we might have some snow. But if it sticks, it gets like maybe ½ inch thick, 10 inch thick. It's not crazy. Now, other things you deal with as being a farmer or rancher or whatever you want to call this, when you're trying to do stuff like this, you ain't got a whole lot of money. So when it comes to vehicles, I do a lot of all my maintenance on my trucks myself. On top of that, since I got a lot of know-how, I do a lot of stuff for family, fixing different things for them. So you'll see videos coming out of that. Matter of fact, I got my brother-in-law's Titan in the yard. The rear wheel bearings went out, so that's a video y'all probably see. It's me taking that apart and replacing those rear wheel bearings. I did the front wheel bearings on it probably about a year or two ago, along with some ball joints and different things of that nature on the front. So I'm probably gonna make a video doing that. I got a 96 F350 with a 7.3 power stroke in it. It needs work. I daily drive it now, but I think I got a fuel leak because my fuel economy has went down. by about 2 miles per gallon. So not cool. Anyhow, there's always stuff to work on around here, and being that due to the farm, doing to, you know, having to tend to animals, pay all the bills associated with animals, pay all the bills with the land, and then pay our normal living expenses, right? House note, car note, insurance, cell phones, yada yada yada. You ain't got a whole lot of money. We can't afford to just take, every time we have an issue, take it to the mechanic. So I work on all that stuff. I got a big ski boat that I got some work to do with it, and I'll probably show some of that. I got a foiler that needs some work, so I'll probably show that. And it's different little things. That old Massey Ferguson 245 I talked to y'all before about. There's some minor things. I say minor things. If I ever get a big shop, I want to completely rebuild that tractor. But that's way down the road. If we still got a channel, then I'll YouTube that too. But yeah, that's a long time ago. Long time ago. So I think that kind of covers everything. We might do some hunting videos, some fishing videos. Like I said, we're right off, or not far from Toledo Bend Lake. Great lake to go bass fishing on. Great lake to go, you know, skiing and tubing. Got to know where we go though. If you do come to Toledo Bend, please talk to the locals. There are a lot of stumps. That's why the fishing's so good, and there are designated playgrounds. But it being the size of the lake it is a dangerous lake. It's a big body of water. Be cautious. But other than that, be more than welcome to come to Toledo Bend. Everybody here love to see you. It's great Southern folks, great hospitality, great cooking. All right, guys, I think y'all get the gist of it. I might make this into a couple more videos if I come across more interesting stuff. This was touching 36 minutes at this point, which that's not edited. I'm gonna have to go through and edit it and all that good stuff. But I'm gonna let y'all go. I hope y'all have a great day, and I will see you on the next video.